I guess I half answered question 5, how well will McLaren do this year, which is very similar to the previous question, what do I think about them having Mercedes power. How McLaren will do this year, they have a great team. Zach has taken the team from the doldrums of the Honda days, with Andreas Seidel now joining the team from the Porsche LMP1 project. I think the team look certainly more cohesive, and I think they have more capacity to spring more surprises. They just look better than they did during the Honda and even the early Renault days. I think last year was a very big shot in the arm for the team, a very big statement of intent. The difficulty is with all the current testing restrictions and all the current token restrictions for development, and now even the aerodynamic restrictions and cost restrictions. I don't know how easy it's going to be for McLaren to spend what they would need to spend both in time and in pound notes or dollar notes or euro notes to close the gap to the ultra dominant Mercedes team. And I don't think any fan of Formula One, whichever team you follow or driver you follow, I don't think anyone would be upset with anybody taking the fight and making a fight with the ultra dominant Mercedes team. But I think they've had a great run of success, and I'm not sure McLaren, in the current rule and with the current rules, would be able to spend and get their aero bang on point. Having said that, I did say earlier when it was raining, when the conditions were a bit dubious, McLaren always looked to be on the pace. They certainly seemed to be able to turn their tyres on a lot faster. I think the tyres this year are going to be the biggest story from what the drivers, Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel, both with 11 World Championships between them, both said the tyres were not good. And that, I think, is going to play a huge part on the early part of the season. And I suspect, as the teams come back to Europe, I suspect we might go back to last year's tyres, because I can see, all the drivers and all the teams finding it difficult to find grip on these new tyres and to get them turned on, to get them, where in the operating window they need to be to give performance. So my hopes, the last question, how well do I think McLaren will do this year? Well, it's quite a big ask, I think, to finish third again, between Aston Martin, AlphaTauri, Alpine with a two-time champion Fernando Alonso at the wheel, is a big ask to finish third again. I think maintaining third and scoring more points would be, if I was in charge of the team, which of course I'm not, but if I was Andreas Seidel or Zach Brown, I would be saying, let's close the gap to Red Bull, maybe sneak like Racing Point did last year, maybe sneak a win when Mercedes trip over themselves, or Red Bull and Mercedes take each other out, or whatever happens. I think McLaren should be there to fight it out. I think they'll have a huge fight on their hands. I think their fight this year is with Aston Martin, and I look forward to that. I think Red Bull will still be slightly ahead, but maybe as the year progresses, McLaren will be able to close that gap to the Red Bull team. And I think that in itself would be a big achievement and a great springboard for 2022 and the new car and tyre regulations that will come into play. So I hope I've answered all the questions succinctly enough. I'm a lifelong Formula One fan. I got this cap at the Brazilian Grand Prix a few years ago through Petrobras. I was a guest of Petrobras. And fingers crossed for Daniel Ricciardo, Lando Norris especially. I love Lando, he's a great guy, great fun, good to have around the paddock, and very, very fast. So fingers crossed for a great season, fingers crossed we can get back to going to watch Formula One again, and the best of luck to McLaren.